Thanks, Mark. So I'm standing here because as part of my duty as headline sponsor, apart from paying for the venue, the lunch and the drinks after, is to introduce the cool speakers. I also have sales in my job title, so you really don't want to hear from me. So I'm going to hand the time over to Alastair, who's going to tell us about how Cisco connects spaces and people and technology to create smart environments. Over to you, Alastair.
Brilliant. Thank you. So I've only got 13 minutes, so it's going to be quite a rush through about a dozen slides, so that's a minute per slide. And it's working, brilliant. These two pictures, and there's a lot of pictures in my slides, but these two pictures, there is more in common in these two pictures than you think, right? We'll come back to that at in about 11 minutes, okay? Somebody in the audience can spot where this is, can't they, on the left? So who am I? So Alastair Tucker-Brown, I'm a specialist in Cisco that focuses on smart buildings and sustainability. So for the last 3 years, that's all I've really focused on. For the last 25 years, I've worked in the networking business. Since I've been looking at smart buildings and sustainability, it's really ignited my passion for technology again. And I think someone said to me the other day, isn't it great that you can actually change the way people feel in a place by the use of that technology? And I hadn't really looked at it like that before, and I thought, I like that. I'm going to use that. So, yeah, I'll keep using that. Who is Cisco? The reason I put in the who is Cisco is I was speaking at the Smart Building Show a couple of years ago, and I said, any questions? Someone put their hand up and said, who's Cisco? Because I just assumed that everyone knew who they were. But within facilities and estates and sustainability, Cisco isn't known by everyone. So we are the world's largest network, hardware, and software manufacturing. We turn over 55 billion a year. We're 40 years old. We operate in 165 countries, got 80,000 employees. And within the UK and within public sector, we probably have about 80% penetration within public sector. Well known within your IT departments, but within facilities and estates, we're probably not that well known. You might have seen some of the access points in the ceiling, some of the technology, but you might not know who we are. So why are we in this space? So we recognize that actually, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to share what Cisco are doing within our property at the moment. Like I said, we operate in 165 countries. We've got 400 offices, but we're on a rationalization drive at the moment, and I'm going to share some of the findings and some of the things that we're doing in our own space and how that relates to yours. What I have seen, and this morning's speakers have already alluded to this, is that one of the key things that's driving our customers to relook at their property is the war for talent. So we know that there's a shortage of people with the right talent in the right place. And in order to attract that talent and retain them, you need to build environments for them to work in, that they want to work in and they thrive to work in. The second thing is building hybrid working environments. And it's quite interesting to listen to the speakers talking about moving people outside of central locations. But that hybrid working environment is a difficult thing to get your arms around. There's a lot of organizations out there that still haven't got a hybrid working strategy nailed down. And I call it building digital equity. So no matter where you contribute in a meeting, you have the same equity, whether you're in a room or whether you are coming in remotely into your organization. So building that digital equity is up there in Cisco's priorities. And then the third thing is the drive to net zero and the adoption of smart buildings. There's been a perfect storm at the moment of technology moving on, the availability of low voltage, low energy things that drive down the use of electric, and then the advancement in technology, the ability to be able to secure technology easier, makes for quite a compelling story. There's a little saying that I've used for a long time is, if you do the same thing, expect the same result. But actually in 2025, if you just rinse and repeat, you'll get left behind. Other people will grab that talent, will build better environments, and you'll be left there scratching your head. So what are Cisco doing on their estate journey? So we don't have a mandate. We do not have a mandate to go into the office. What we're doing is we're building environments that people want to go into. So our chief exec, Chuck, call him Uncle Chuck, he has this phrase that the office should be a magnet, not a mandate. Yeah, and we've just opened up our Finsbury office in London 4 months ago. And the amount of footfall in that office, I've seen more people in the last 4 months than I have in the last 4 years. Just because it's an amazing environment to work in, and I invite everyone here to come and see the office once this session's over. So the 4 recurring themes that when we went out to our staff and said, what do you want from an office? What do you want from your property? The first thing was frictionless experience. So I walk into the office knows it's me, I've badged in, the camera recognizes my face and associates me with a badge and lets me into the office. I go into a meeting room, the audio visual knows that it's Alastair that's in the room, I connect to the audio visual instantly. We're not sitting around for 10 minutes trying to connect stuff. So that frictionless experience, that's what we're after. The second thing is data-driven insights. Data-driven insights is a really simple phrase, but it's a really difficult thing to do. So most organizations, and I know a lot of agencies are still going around their property with clipboards, counting people, counting things, right? When it's something that could be done simply by the use of some very simple technology, but it's not as simple. It's not as simple as that. There is an answer to it, but it's we're not going to do it in this session. The third thing is the drive to net zero. So how are my buildings being used? Why am I heating rooms that don't need heated? Why am I cooling rooms that don't need cooled? Why have I got the lights on when nobody's in? Why is the network working over the weekends and at night time when actually I don't need that switched on, I could switch it off? So that whole drive to net zero is really driving people to focus on where is my energy being used and why, and where can I automate in order to turn things off or switch things down. And then the fourth thing is the health and well-being. So when you're looking at your new properties, you'll be looking at standards like WELL, BREEAM or BREEAM, and Leaseman. How did your staff interoperate with your building? How environmentally friendly is that building, etc. So these are the 4 things. And what Cisco's doing is we are rationalizing our office space. So in London, we closed down 9 offices, and we're building this one office. I say building this one office. It's on 2 floors. We built 1 floor and opened it. The other floor opens in about 6 months' time. But the quality of that office space is better, even though there are fewer, the square footage is fewer. The quality of that square footage is better, but the cost is flat, right? So we're not having to go out and invest and ask for budget. We're just using the same budget, building better quality floor space, and it's having a very positive effect on the employees. We also did something which was move our estates people out of finance. So we moved them out of a cost center and put them into the people part of the business because it's a service. We saw it as a service to the people of the organization. That's really changed the way that they think. Yeah. So the You know, if I'm having a conversation with an organization, the best people to have in the room are IT, the estates, and the people, right? And you'd think that would be easy to do, but actually it's quite difficult. And there's always a bit of tension, I think, between IT and estates. I'm not hiding from that. But I've found that Cisco can act as a marriage guidance counselor and sort of get people talking and get them looking at things a little bit differently. So if you need any guidance, please reach out. Just quickly on some of the reductions in space, won't go into those in great detail, but the way we use space changed. Now, we call it we space and me space, right? So the commute to compute, so commute to sit at a desk and use a computer is not a great use of time. I know some people need to do that. Some of my secret customers really need to do that. But the commute to compute is on the decline. The commute to collaborate is very much on the up. So the way that we changed our office space is that there's lots of collaboration areas and less individual areas. We have completely changed the way that we do, the way that we design our floor plate. But also, each meeting room now has a purpose. So we don't just say, let's have a dozen meeting rooms. We'll have one with 6 chairs, one with 8 chairs, one with 10 chairs. Each room has to have a purpose, whether it's for innovation, ideation, whether it's for project management. Each room has to be thought out differently. And over the years, so we've been on this journey for about 5 years. We've learned over the years that there is a different room for every type of scenario, and we've learned that these are 16. There's about 16 rooms, are not all on here. 16 different room types. Anything from a one-person drop-in room, and what we discovered was that most meeting rooms, traditional meeting rooms, would be the biggest rooms that would have audio-visual. Most people wanted audio-visual, and the smallest meeting rooms never had audio-visual in them. So what we did was we put audio-visual in the smallest rooms and the biggest rooms. Different types of audio-visual, but each room has audio-visual in it. The things like the tables that we use in the meeting rooms have changed. So this type of scenario, we've changed a rectangular table into a trapezoid table, so that when you are looking at a video screen, everyone in that room has got a face within the meeting. So if you're in a restaurant, there's 12 of you, you take a photograph on a restaurant table, you're like that, looking at, there's always somebody's face that gets missed out. If the table was in a trapezoid shape, everyone in that room has a face. And that's back to that sort of digital equity. We have a tool that you can design these rooms, and it will spit out the audiovisual equipment, the furniture. Cisco don't sell furniture, right? But what we'll do is we'll tell you what shape of furniture to use, what comfort of seat to use, what decibels, etc. Yeah. Sorry. And the role of technology. So I spend a lot of time within blue light, health, central government. This is one of my blue light customers, police station on the left. And I spend a lot of time in police stations and hospitals, but for the right reasons. The network itself, the network has changed over the last 20 years. And I've been around long enough to remember when we put voice over the network. And the pushback 20 years ago was, you're not putting voice over my data network, yeah? And it's just de facto now. Then it was voice, video, and data. But today, where we're seeing it is the network becomes a sensor. So I think it was Linda was talking about the sensors that are being used to understand how property is being used. Those things would normally be ad hoc, or they would normally sit on another network. They wouldn't sit on the IT network. But actually, the network can become a sensor. And then the way that you distribute energy. So the way that you distribute energy over the network through power over Ethernet. That's as technical as I'm really going to get today. But the ability to do that gives you data points on a floor plate. So end up with this, which office is this? This one's in San Francisco, but on a floor plate like this, you're probably talking about 2,000 data points that you could pick up using the network and the collaboration equipment. I am rushing here. How long have I got? 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Yeah. This is a really busy slide, but what I wanted to do here was show you. Oh, show you that. Show you that you don't need to. Sorry, let me just as I click that back, my head didn't go back at the same time. So just this is to show you that the OT environment, so the operational technology environment, such as heating, ventilation, air conditioning, door access, CCTV, fire suppression, etc. All sit on different networks, all have their own hardware that sits at the end of them. And then you've got the IT network sat here, and this IT network is always sort of isolated. But actually today what you can do is you converge the whole lot. And if you converge those networks, not only do you simplify the operation of the building, you also cut down on the amount of copper, plastic, precious minerals that you're using in all of those duplicate networks. So that ability to converge the networks and condense them does make a difference, not just from an operational point of view, but from a sustainability point of view. If I've only got 1 minute left, right, I will go to, I'll make this my second last slide, promise, right? I knew it was going to be difficult to do 12 slides. This is a demonstration booth that we have and we take on our road shows. And the slide that I showed earlier about the network, of the evolution of the network, this is a network switch. So some people in the room might not know what a switch looks like, and apologies for mansplaining or dadsplaining, as my kids would say. But this switch here powers the Wi-Fi, powers the lighting, it powers the CCTV, powers the collaboration equipment, powers the screen, powers my laptop, powers the phone on the desk. And you don't have to run electrical cable to all of these other devices. And that simplification, I wanted to sort of demonstrate that simplification of environment really has a dual impact. Operational efficiency, reduction in plastics, copper, precious minerals, and a reduction in energy too. So I'll just fast forward to my last slide. That's what I was going to say, those pictures. So in this picture on the left, the network is there, but all it's doing is it's moving data around. This picture on the right, the network is powering the data network, the telephony, the desks are powered by the network, the lights are powered by the network. The network is telling the heating ventilation equipment that it's empty, so don't heat it, don't cool it. It's a north-facing wall, so it doesn't have automatic blinds, but if it did, if it was south-facing, the blinds could come down if it was too bright or it was too hot. So that is the difference between those. The network is in the background, it's there, you can't see it, but it has a very positive impact. Where do you start? It is, you've already started your journey on smartifying your estate. But I think there's definitely opportunity to see where we go next in terms of the low-powered, low-energy, connected space that actually makes a positive difference. I'll stop there.
Yep.